Now, the Jordanian King Abdullah II, was in Cairo today, being Wednesday, meeting with the Egyptian President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. And both of them issued a statement pointing to the fact that they will not accept any Israeli initiative to expel Palestinians from the Gaza Strip, and calling for the international community to do more to not only bring about a ceasefire, but to bring in humanitarian aid. Why, in particular, with two countries that have both signed peace agreements with the State of Israel, is there also no joint call in that statement for the release of the hostages? It's part and parcel of the war.
It is. It is part and parcel of the war, but let's not forget that Egypt's working very actively to try to help release those hostages, and has played a role in the previous release. Maybe the reason they're not discussing it is because they're trying to hold on to their ties with Hamas in such a sense, and Egypt does not like Hamas at all, nor does Jordan, in order to work out some sort of deal. But I think what's more important here is the writing's on the wall and what Israel's trying to do with the people in Gaza. They are pushing them to a small area along the sea and the border with Egypt. And Egypt's very frightened that 1 million or 2 million refugees from this war, who are going to stay there for a very long time, will spill over the border. And that's something they don't want to see. That's why they're making these calls now, because they don't want to see Israeli pressure move those hostages into Egyptian territory.
Well, there's two issues from what I can gather from what you just said. The first being, why then, if both of these countries are not exactly friends with Hamas, do they not condemn Hamas's actions while still supporting the Palestinians? Because evidently that seems to be the issue at the moment with the international community, not making a clear distinction between Hamas, a terror organization, and the Palestinians that do have a legitimate plight to the land, to a statehood. And more so than that, why is Egypt so concerned about taking in what is ultimately, or what they would call, their Palestinian brothers?
Well, first of all, Egypt did, unlike the Palestinian Authority, condemn the October 7th attacks. They're maybe not very vocal about it because it's got to maneuver throughout the Arab world, and that's and it has to try to maneuver also with Hamas because it's trying to be a mover and shaker in the region. Apart from that, let's face it, Israel is pushing very hard these refugees to the south, and it wouldn't mind at all if some of them spilled over into Egypt. It's going to take a very long time, if ever we know, for those refugees to come back into the Gaza City area, etc. Israel's using this as a pressure point on Hamas and on the Arab world as well, to some degree. And Egypt's pushing back. They don't want another Palestinian exodus out of what was Palestine.
It does seem almost that they are, stuck between a rock and a hard place in wanting to put forward the idea of protecting and securing the Palestinians while also not wanting to sever their ties with Israel, making good on their claim with the United States. In wars, there's no doubt that there's a fortune of geopolitical complexity. But when we speak about specifically wars in the Middle East, and in particular Israel and the Palestinians, just how much of these complexities are put forward on the table when we speak about this, to the point that the world actually sees it all and understands it for what it is? Because it seems like a lot of it gets pushed into a corner and sort of ignored.
Well, the world can't, the world population, the world public opinion cannot see complexities. It looks for clear, simple answers, which of course this is not. But the thing is that I think that what the Egyptians and the Jordanians and the Saudis are concerned is that this will be another Palestinian exodus. And they don't want to see that happen at all, for their particular reasons. At the same time, they do want to see Hamas not return to the negotiating table. People don't realize that, but Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, Egypt, Jordan do not want Hamas to return. Turkey, who called Prime Minister Netanyahu another Hitler, does want Hamas to stay in power. So does Qatar, even though Qatar is playing, has been playing a role in the hostage things. They both have the same ideology of the Muslim Brotherhood that Hamas has. So it is a complex game. It's not black and white on whose side everybody is or what kind of solutions there are. And the point is how to quantify simplify that into a simple message, which is very difficult.
Absolutely, and it would certainly help a little bit with all the international pundits that feel like they can weigh in on the Middle East that haven't been here to at least acknowledge some of those complexities. And as you so rightly put it, not black and white, but rather more of a grey scale. Martin, thank you very much for that in the meantime.